Hello and welcome to Jazz Guitar Lessons Berlin. My name is Tina Jeckel. This is lesson number 22 and there's a new episode every Monday, and if you like you can subscribe to my channel. In the last lessons I showed you some exercises how you can develop a good relationship between your hands and your ears. Transcribing is another way that will strengthen that connection. So what to transcribe? I think you can transcribe whatever you like to, whatever you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be a guitar solo. It can be anything from a bass riff to the chord changes of a song, the melody of a song, whatever you like and whatever sparks your curiosity and whatever you feel passionate about. I think that's the most important thing. One thing you can do to find out what you feel passionate about is to keep a sort of a transcribing journal. So let's say if you're listening to music on the way to work, in the train or on the bike, and you hear something that fascinates you, I would recommend that you write down what it is. So which song, on which record, and also, very important, which minute and second, so you can find it easily afterwards. So you make like a collection of musical snippets that you like, that you heard on recordings, and that you sort of archive in your journal. So when you sit down for transcribing, you just have to have a look in your journal and see what you found interesting. Because I think if you sit down for transcribing and you first have to look for a solo or anything you're going to transcribe, you could be wasting some time until you find something that you want to transcribe and then still feeling unsure about it. So I would recommend keeping a transcribing journal. Write down when you hear something and don't hesitate to transcribe only some seconds of a tune. If there's a sound or a line that you're interested in, and you can check it out what it is, how it is applied in that moment, it will give you a lot of joy. So everybody probably knows the story of the musician who sits next to his record player and listens to the record thousands of times and tries to transcribe the record until the record is broken, and I think of course that's probably the best ear training, because you repeat the recording so often that it becomes sort of part of your DNA. But today we have some tools which make transcribing a little bit easier, and I think it's no shame to use those tools. There are two tools that I use. One is the program Transcribe. You can find it on 7strings.com. It's a free download for 2 weeks. Afterwards you have to pay for the program. I don't know exactly how much it costs anymore. I guess about 20 to 30 euros. But I think it's a nice program. It's a little older. You can create loops, and of course you can slow down the tempo and have the same pitch as before. I have an old MacBook without wireless LAN, without internet connection. I destroyed that. On this MacBook I have the program, and I have to say I love that laptop really a lot, because when I'm working on my transcribing I never have that problem of jumping to my email account in a weak moment or social media and checking out on Twitter. Just I can work in total peace on that laptop. Of course, not everybody has the luxury of having two laptops or two computers, but if you have the possibility to work on a computer that doesn't have internet access while you're transcribing, I guess it's a great thing to do. But that's of course totally another story. Another good tool is the application AnyTune Pro. And it's an app, and it basically does the same thing as the Transcribe program. I think the sound is better, you can create loops, and you can also slow the recording down. So one of the things you want to do when you start transcribing is really to listen to the recording over and over again. Maybe if you never transcribed anything before, start with a recording of something you already know very well and listen to a lot of times. You start with listening to the recording, and maybe you pick a small loop of a first phrase or a chord progression you want to hear, and just give yourself time to listen to it, and after a while you might try to sing along with it. If it's the bass figure, or if it's the melody, or even if it's a drum part, you can sing to it. And then when that works out, I would start transcribing with the guitar or piano, or maybe even without any instrument. I have to confess, I always transcribe with the guitar, and it also, transcribing with the guitar, of course, strengthens your connections again, because when you're transcribing for a longer time, let's say for an hour, your fingers will find the notes faster and easier all the time. Don't be frustrated if you don't get the whole thing written out in one day, but come back to it next day, and often you will hear a little bit more than before, and the next day you will hear a little bit more than before. You know, your brain is working away on the problem subconsciously, even if you're not working on the solution at the moment. So, meaning, get back to the exercise every day if you can, and then relax, chill, do something nice, and the next day you start over again. It's like peeling an onion. Layer by layer, you get deeper into the music you're hearing, and your ears will hear more than before. Okay, that's it for today. I hope I could help you a little on the subject of transcribing, and if you have any questions, shoot me an email.